discuss a lot with them and give them the best solutions.
I want to get your perspective as well, because from a logistic point of view, again, that human touch is essential, but I understand that logistics might help to drive efficiency, quickness. So how are you maintaining that balance?
Well, if you're talking about the unpredictable situations, especially where the crisis is, what we did is we tried to analyze the trends. Again, the trends. We specifically assessed the inflow, or I would say in logistics, inbound and outbound inventory, and also trying to analyze the level of inventory stored in our warehouses. And we tried to, I would say, try to calculate it against the public holiday days. And we'll see the trends, but it actually matches it. So at that point of time, we break it down to 1 month, 2 months, right? And we decided that, okay, at this point of time, we should hire more temporary workers just to cope with the volume. So that is not an automation, but that's where the automation is coming from. We dealt with the automation, the robots, but unfortunately, in most cases in Indonesia, especially the warehouses in Indonesia, it is not really viable just because the inventory keeps on changing, especially 3PL such as us. The inventory keeps on changing, there's no pattern in that. So it actually relies on the human intuition / human ingenuity. So we couldn't really implement mention about AI. Yes, we did some we people around the credit, but it's mostly on the market. What we did in Malaysia, we're really at our own expertise, try to analyze the inflow, the placement of the goods at the factory, at the trucks, everything, and then we try to drive it up and connect it to the financial and see which one that we could improve that's directly impacting to the financial side, especially on the operations.
Andy, you mentioned about how over the last couple of years, especially in the BFSI category, there's been this ongoing transformation. Companies have looked at what their line assets are, like in the example of Intel. So what are some common misconceptions that businesses make about consumers, and how can our business avoid these common mistakes so that in their part of transformation they are aligned and they sort of make sure that they are growing, but they are also growing at a steady pace?
I think one of the most, some of the most common misconceptions is about communications. So maybe one of the things, if you give lots of notification to your customers when they product or company stuff, then they will be more likely to engage. I think that's one of the most conceptions. So maybe we think that over communicate is better than under communicate. But then I think, as mentioned earlier, since the expectations of customer is growing, increase over time, so they even expect that we can read their mind, right? Like, when should we notify them the best? Actually, at the end of the day, there are two things that we need to solve there, like who, so we should understand who is our customer. Then when should we approach them and how, right? Like who, for example, when you're approaching someone like household mom, it might be different when we try to approach worker, for example, or even blue collar, white collar. It's a different things. They might have a different habit. Some of them, it comes to the web. Maybe some people more likely to be engaged or to be effective during lunchtime, maybe, or maybe when they wake up, or maybe even at night. So knowing this customer behavior, then we can understand and strategize when should we approach them. And we shouldn't go back with lots of notification and stuff. They might block even
Jadi ini makanan kita sebenarnya.
Then last but not least is the how, right? Like some people might be approached by SMS, some WhatsApp, some push notifications, some email. If we only see from the customer perspective, then we might want to get the lowest cost. Like for example, email it might cost what really cheap, not even 100 rupiah, right? Or even WhatsApp or SMS or push notification even free. But then the success rate will be much lower than if you use WhatsApp or others. So that misconception is quite common, where we should start to strategize using data. How should we approach our customers? Then among that, about maybe features. Some people think that okay, with more feature, with more products, then it's enough. People will like our product. That is wrong. The way we put the product, right, the way we understand the UI UX that customer wants, the user experience the customer expecting, then it's the better. Even if we have limited product, but we have really nice, like for example, in IKEA, it's really nice, right, when you can see a lot of stuff, really, when you go offline, and how we can digitalize that experience into the digital bank, right, or in the digital apps. So it will be important to really personalize to our customers, so that not only we offer lots of products, but then it also suits what they need in financial. Sometimes we have some products in buying gold, berbagai, mutual funds, but then even different segment might have different needs. So that's two examples of misconceptions on how we should run digital apps.
Just staying on this topic of personalization, Abang, since we work with so many different brands in many clubs software, and being in the CPG space, what are some lessons that you can share with everyone around using data, using personalization, driving that communication, so that to the point that you're not over communicating, rather you're being relevant at the right time. How are you doing that?
Yes. During the personalizations that we have to start with the data mining. So looking at the secondary data and the primary data. But also because mine is the consumer company, you are not owning the data, the big data. So we have the CRM inside, but for sure, Google CRM database will compact all of the portfolio is not something that's quite small. It's less than 5%. So for sure, we have to see what kind of data signal that we can attach to personalize, to have the segmentation of the consumer. So basically, when we see the process of offline to online, so basically we have to see the right type of audience, the right segmentations in this platform. If you go to only for the people like Facebook, Google, TikTok, for example, so we need to have data signal to find what is the right product and also the right segment that express to the needs of the consumer. So because why? Because right now digital is going to be most has area like media. So people is already something like a self-consume more than 10,000 advertising data. And then how can you can perform compared to others advertising? So yes, correct. If we go first with the content, that's the choice because right now content is going to be your number one for the marketing. But the problem, how can we can customize the content? So different product, different target, and also different segment. So we need to custom the content as well. Because right now people try to find other product in the content. So if we compare for the last years, people try to find something through the Google, but right now they find out something through the social media search. So that's I think how we can adapt with this kind of situations with the content with that personalization as well. And for sure, when we give it the right content, so we need to have the right content as well. When you have kind of the staging of the awareness, so you can sell other products with the unique selling point and so amazing. But for sure, if you want to see the people is what they get the exposure of the brand awareness, and then you need to see to another channel, another facing, which is the consolidation. You might create another content that we can engage the consumer to consider your brand. So you cannot rely only for the brand concept, but you have to co-create with other brands as well to custom the content as well, because the basic, the marketing funnel is already different from awareness to consideration. And the last one, if you go to conversion, is another thing as well. Once you get the right content to convert people, so you need to put every single promotion message into the content. So that's why the differentiation of the product, the differentiation of the audience segment, and then how we activate the platform, how we create the content based on the marketing plan is absolutely key. And all this is basically through the consumer insight. And all the data from the consumer insight might be can go deep from your own data if you have kind of the database or the CRM system inside of the company, or otherwise you have to go on the whatever the platform data signal that we can provide.
Continuing from there, we have content and personalization on one side. With the current marketplace getting more and more crowded, with Indonesian consumers getting more and more choices, how do you optimize your CX strategy so that one gets the message right, the experience that the consumer has?
Thank you. So I think a big part for IKEA is that we always think about customers and how do we engage them emotionally. So it's not just about selling the products, but also when customers shop with us, we try to bring something more than just transactional value, but more into the emotional value. Meaning by, for example, in our IKEA Family program, as our membership program, we create events that suits with their interest by learning from the data that we have from the loyalty data, and also by giving the communication personalized. Yes, everyone is talking about hyper targeting, hyper personalization. So it's up to us to really learn from the data and also think of how we can use it properly and right in time, right in the place that we want the customers to feel like they are emotionally engaged with the brand. So I think we need to find something that can differentiate us from our competitors, definitely, right? So also home furnishings stores are now coming. New brands are coming. We know we have more competitors right now. So that's, I think, the biggest point that we stand for is like emotional value that the customers can perceive when they shop with us.
Now it feels like almost every month there is a big wave of disruption, new technology, something that is never possible before. So in that background, what are some of the biggest challenges businesses that you foresee businesses will face moving forward, and how should they be prepared for this constant wave of disruption?
Well, for us, everything is a big but then again, since we are in a highly regulated institution, financial institutions, the biggest challenges, of course, is significant. We are proactively communicating with the government who give the current conditions, of course. Our regulator, GOKIL, and associations try to keep up with the changes as well. But then again, they disruptive, as you said, it's 1 month, 1 week, always something different. That's how we just have to get involved with all the changes. And we always like behind. The regulations always like behind. Always come last with all these changes. Then again, that's how we protect our customers. Since trust is the most important thing in the financial institutions. So we have to protect trust. Especially in Indonesia nowadays, customers trust, people trust to insurance business, insurance, like insurance, right? That's how we can educate our customers. And the part of being in the biggest regulation in the country, we have a big opportunity to do this, give the using our 5 portals, all channels, including this event covered by our TV, is part of our literacy and education student.
I want to open this question up to everyone here because we have insurance, we have retail. So in all of your respective domains, negative customer feedback is common. And sometimes it might be that customers might have an expectation that they already have in their mind that's not met. So, how should businesses deal with this negative feedback? How can they deal with unmet expectations? And is it possible to turn this negative feedback into turning it into a positive thing for the brand, into strengthening brand loyalty, building trust?
Okay, negative feedback. Wow, insurance is very common. The negative feedback. And every time we solve that problem, customers always come up with another one, right? And actually, that's a challenge for us to keep on improving and developing more products. There will be the perfect product for every customer, but at least close to it. That's our goal. Close to their expectations, close to their financial ability, and then how we can change it. Of course, we have a survey with our customers and sometimes non our customers about how can we serve them. Start from the microinsurance and into high-end interest product. So from them, I know it's not easy, to fulfill the request, but then again, step by step, we're getting there.
From one standpoint, from our standpoint, because logistics is basically B2B, more on B2B. But the first question that usually we ask is our customers. Because we have a lot of customers, it's not just the customers that bought or ask for us to deliver. What about the man in the middle? What about the man who works in the middle, such as the truck driver? We consider them also as a customer. Because most of the complaints that we have is actually coming from the truck driver. But we waited for 4 hours. Why my truck has not been called? A lot of feedback, especially if you're coming from the Google review, is actually coming from the truck driver rather than the end customer. Because they waited in the parking lot and they have nothing. So that's how we do. So based on that, we made some initiatives last year. We tried to dig down the data. What actually going on? What was actually going on? We found some important points that we would like to address. The first is the yard capacity. Right? The loading capacity, the loading yard capacity is not sufficient enough because it was a big system. The second one is because that we only have 2 high-speed trains. So they need to wait 1 to 2 hours for documents to get prepared. So based on the very simple analysis to improve our operations, we try to not eliminate, but we try to reduce reduce the number of complaints. So that's only for the big policy. What about our quote-unquote paying customers? The complaint might be coming from their supply chain or from their stores. So we try to get it. Because the information was scattered at the time, because of the supply chain is actually contacting our supply chain, the outlets is actually contacting our distribution company. We did not have a centralized tool to do that. We just implemented it. And now we saw that there's a problem here in the gate out, or in the routing problems. And the root cause is actually being identified in the routing inefficiency. So we fix it. So basically, it's only a matter of desire to find the root cause to fix the problem. And wasn't for sure, customer is not always right. Especially nowadays, when complaints is just a few fingers away. No, trust but verify.
Maybe I'll add a bit from my contribution, but maybe I think at the end, in Bergabung, we'll always try to take the customer complaint, because I think bank is industry of trust. It's not about financial, it's not about payments, it's not about lending, but it's about trust. So gaining the customer trust is the main priority for us. Again, there are lots of channels that customers can complain. They can complain directly to us. They can put even in the social media, even they put in some forums and stuff. But then at the end, I think we always try to fix or even improve our experience from the customer complaint. So for examples like doing KYC onboarding process. Sometimes back then there were customers where they feel, hey, onboarding here is very painful. When I go to the branch, the RM will type for me. I just give my KTP and it's done. Voila, everything is typed down. Then we hear the complaint, then we try to implement OCR, right? Where we can read from the KTP image and we put all the information into the field so that they don't need to retype it. In where maybe some address they still need to change because sometimes the KTP might be different, but then we take the experience to improve our product. So maybe in mutual funds or gold, for example, hey, why is it quite expensive buying things from your place, right? Or even transfer. Then we try to see that because we work closely with different third party, right? For mutual funds, for example, then we try to renegotiate and see whether we could fulfill to reduce the price, even for the payments, for bills and stuff. Then maybe even some comments might be a bit strange. So for example, when they apply for loan, because of maybe like bad credit score, right? Credit score, they still complain, hey, I don't get loan. Why? But then we should be empathized. We should be empathy with maybe these people might have some difficulties. Then we try to message, so instead of, hey, you are rejected because your score is bad, but it's more towards, maybe you could try again in the several times, several months, for example. So then it could give us the opportunity for them to retry again. But again, we take feedback seriously, so that's why we try to always improve our engagement, our products based on the customer feedback, even from the end-to-end digital payment experience.
So from the consumer perspective, so we think the consumer complaint is basically the key for us. Because the consumer put the complaint in both ways, two ways. The first one is addressed to our digital aspect. So lots of the conversation coming to our direct messages, the social media or our consumer line. And the second one, we have the WhatsApp as well, or the third-party platform like e-commerce, because we sell lots of volume of the And right now, we are seriously taking consideration to put the consumer content as our priority. Because our company values basically put the consumer as number one, focus the consumer. And then we are trying to translate all the consumer content to the SDG side. So not only the good data coming from the consumer, but also the negative feedback should be as a good insight for us. Because the consumer content is really good insight, not only for the marketing and also, but also taking benefit for our product development team. So right now we are working together with one of the key platforms to get the insight. For example, because our channel e-commerce becoming big, and we saw that the e-commerce review, the consumer review in e-commerce is becoming big as well. Because lots of the platform put the incentive for the consumer, put the review, direct review, and then we are trying to have kind of the AI to just to classify what kind of the conversation inside of the e-commerce that we can grow, and then we can compare to our competitors. And from those insights, we can see what kind of the improvement needed for toward the new product that we need to customer. So the recent development, also the marketing team will work together to formulate whatever the consumer need that we cannot deliver during the time. So the product innovation is one of the gifts that consumer give it to us. Instead of we have to pay 100 million rupiah just to have the focus group discussion. But right now we already have very good interactive directly through the real time that the data can be flowing directly from the e-commerce platform, and we can digest through the AI technology itself. And you can see all the conversations and also whatever the companies are doing to comment. So that's I think the good thing, the funny thing from the consumer content. We are not thinking as the negative only, but also we are thinking this is the positive one that we can collaborate with the consumer. Hence, the intervention of the consumer content, we already put kind of the service level agreement that we put as the service to the consumer. What's good to content? So how many hours, how many days that we have to deliver our next services and the product, and then how we can compensate the consumer. Because at the end, all the content is good for us.
Okay, so at IKEA we actually have a KPI for each store where we call it a happy customer index. So it is something that we track with a high score is 100%, definitely. So in each store, we know that IKEA is a self-service shopping store. So we encourage the customers to experience the products and also to shop self-service. But also, we have a customer relationship department in each store under the operation department. So where they are focusing on managing the cashier, the till point, the end of the customer shopping journey. So whereas the customers have already gone through the store, they have experienced our products, the interior design, the inspiration, and also maybe the experience of food at the restaurants. At the end of the journey at the cashier, we have our customer relationship department team who will be asking about their experience, and also we ask them to give us the scoring for the customer happiness index in the stores. That also applies in the e-commerce. So whenever the customer finishes the process of shopping online, in our web or in our app, we direct them to fill in the customer policy X to give score for the customer happiness index. So I think we not only take complaints, but also we would like to know how happy is the customer shopping with us. But when a complaint happens, definitely it's something that is a lot of people as well. Definitely it's something that we can use for improvements. So it's something that the customer relationship partner will raise to internal team, so we can do improvements for the issues that the customer raise in the complaints. So yeah.
Customer happiness index sounds like initiative
It's actually something that each country always brags when we have the global meetings. In terms of marketing and operational, when we have the global meetings, the customer happiness index is something, the number that we always like to exchange. What is your customer happiness index? So in each country, it's kind of a race determined to show that the customers are really happy on shopping with us. Yeah.
Also, you mentioned about thinking about even your drivers, thinking about their waiting time. Really, emotional intelligence and empathy is playing a very role in how you are looking at improving your customers. And it's great to see that across different categories, across how different challenges, that's the one constant. We need to be more empathetic, we need to be more considerate, build these bonds with our. Now, I'm aware we only have 2 minutes left. So, what I want to open up and ask all of you to share is, moving forward, what trends or what innovations do you see that are going to impact our industry the most, that are going to impact business?
Since I'm the most technical guy, yeah. So everybody's been saying about AI. I mean, I programmed AI while I was in college, so it's nothing new on the sun. But it's becoming explosive just because we have reached the AGI, the generative AI. But other than that, we will be having a major breakthrough or major change coming up, which is in the form of quantum computing. The quantum computing is actually most advanced computing power ever. The Google said a couple of years ago, Google has achieved quantum, the thing that they call quantum supremacy. What is quantum supremacy? Quantum supremacy is that they are able to solve common problems using the quantum computer. What common computer or current computer solved in 10,000 years, quantum computing can solve in 3 minutes. So those kind of skill is unimaginable. And now everybody's actually racing for quantum computing. Google, Ali, if I'm not mistaken, Amazon, MIT, they already have some sort of prototype of quantum computing. It's not for mass production because it requires a very low temperature. It's minus 200 Kelvin or so, if I'm not mistaken. So that thing, once it is being rolled out to the world, you wouldn't know what the future will bring. So, including the AI. So that's one of the key trends that we need to look for. Forget about security, forget about information security. Right? Once it's being rolled out, everything can be solved in seconds, including your password. So, on the flip side, the quantum security researcher is actually researching for quantum, I think it's quantum cryptography. Right? Now, well, what will that entail? Is the amount of the computing power, the amount of data analytics that it will perform will grow millions of times going with it. That's changing in the customer experience as well. Because if you have the data, then you will analyze it in microseconds rather than you have to wait for your analytics engine to finish running in, say, 15 minutes. So that is actually coming.
Maybe do you want to share any trends or any?
Maybe from Paikor, you mentioned about on computing, right? Maybe from my perspective, maybe from back then, I think what will be more advanced, it's more towards maybe I will talk more towards about them, right? But then more because I wouldn't say about AI, I wouldn't say about music, that it was ChatGPT basically from Chinese, right? I wouldn't talk about that, but more towards financial financial coverage in Indonesia, yeah, in which, if I'm saying the number, it's around the underbanked, right, underserved, the people who have access to finance is still huge. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, 30-40%. It's still huge at this point of time. Where people live in the really rural area, really far from maybe island, it's really the financial literacy is quite good, the digital tech savvy is quite good. But then people in Papua, in Sulawesi, and this rural area actually, which I think technology would play a critical part in it to increase the financial penetrations of Indonesia. I think what I see things will advance is how the financial technology could penetrate these people in rural area. Because some people, they don't even have a bank account. How could, but they need maybe some loan to start something, to start a shop, or to start to make some website they call a micro. Then how could we utilize data, how we could utilize AI or machine learning or even technology basically to give them the access to financial. So because at the moment even there are plenty of new alternative data they call. For example, if you shop frequently Tokopedia or Shopee or things, actually there are plenty of possibilities that we could use data to really serve the underserved actually. So I would say that one of the thing that will be more advancing is the financial tech. Again, it's not about this AI, it's whatever you name it, or even the UX, CX even, because some people, they might have even some low-end phone, maybe 1 million rupiah phone, then how could we put applications about banking in that phone? That's also one thing that we need to think of. So there are, I think that in Seubjeck, the financial technology will keep on advancing, regardless it's using AI or using anything. I think that's all. Maybe Mama?
Yes, again, from the consumer perspective, because we have the retail more than up to 200,000 stores across nationwide. And then we have to sell a product, and then for sure, if you go only for the online, but you cannot be covered well. So the major problem is basically infrastructure. So it's bridging from the latest conversations. So the internet penetration is becoming 70-80%, but it's only for the big cities, not be covered for Eastern Indonesia and also the small cities. So that's why for the consumers goods company, the number one priority is how we can optimize the O2O, which is the omnichannel. How we can differentiate the online to offline and vice versa. And then e-retail model is becoming big as well because they have good penetration, good distribution indicators how to differentiate the market and also how they can reach the consumer through the database. And the second priority for the consumer goods company in regards of the data